Welcome to another Down the Rabbit Hole video, and yes, I'm talking about Down the Rabbit Hole, the one that came out on PSVR just a couple weeks ago. I mentioned way back when I did my No Man's Sky video I was going to review this, and mainly because I feel contractually obligated with the name of my channel also being Down the Rabbit Hole. Now, what's interesting is this is not the first game like this. There's actually The Rabbit Hole, which is a PSVR kind of a horror game, but I do not like scary stuff, so I was not going to go near that with a 10-foot pole. Anyway, Down the Rabbit Hole. It's a pretty cool little diorama-style game, in the vein of like Moss and Ghost Giant, which are games I've really loved. This one is also really good. It's got its flaws, but let's talk about it. I'm not going to go into too many spoilers, except for maybe in talking about the ending of the game. But regardless, let's discuss Down the Rabbit Hole on PSVR. This is an Alice in Wonderland game, but you're not actually playing Alice in Wonderland. You're playing a character that you can kind of customize. There's a neat branching storyline in this game. And among the different characters she interacts with is a card called 4½.
Climbing down, the girl's footing slips as the ladder gives way. She begins a seemingly endless fall. Down, down, down she goes.
What is happening?
The fall was so long, she began to forget where she was. Or even
Where was I going? What was I doing? I can't even remember anymore.
Oh, finally done. Holy carrots!
Oh.
What did you do? My invitations! Where did they all go? My wife is gonna have my carrots!
And of course you encounter the White Rabbit. And again, I've got the White Rabbit as my logo for my channel, so I had to showcase him particularly. You see these little branching options you have? They actually make a difference in the story. Now, what happens as you play through doesn't really alter that much. But, for example, there's a point where you're looking for your pet, and you are asked what kind of a pet is it? Is it a dog? Is it a cat? Is it a lizard? And depending on what you select, that will actually show up as that in the game, which is kind of cool. I took it literally. I thought maybe this was one of those cases of something had been said, now you have to recall it. And when it was asked later on, what kind of an animal is your pet? I thought, oh, I wasn't listening to the dialogue. I should have paid attention. But no, it just turns out you can make the pet whatever you like. There are a variety of different things. These little cards will show up that are part of the storyline. And what you choose makes a difference. You can play through a few times to see the different alternatives if you like.
I don't have time for somewhere! I need to find those invitations!
Wait, where are you going?
Speaking of being confused by the game, this is one of the first puzzles you have to deal with, and I was really racking my brain trying to figure out how do I get through this. This is really supremely hard. There's a bunch of clocks around, all with their own little hourglass or minute hand, and I thought I'm supposed to time it with the minute hand on the clock. That's not the case, and I'm not going to spoil what the answer is. But this was the first indication to me of like, whoa, this is a lot harder than I thought. Turns out, no, it's a fairly pedestrian level of puzzles in this game. It's not too hard. I would recommend it. At least the puzzle level is fine and quite enjoyable. In fact, there's one really cool level I'm going to show you later on.
Remember, the Hatter at the Keep of Hearts!
Patches! Are you in here?
As the girl exits the foot of the clock, she finds herself in a dimly lit glade. Up ahead, an argument is taking place.
This is our campfire, you repulsive, disgraceful half.
Oh, gee, I was just asking for directions.
You've seen the girl's card friend earlier on. This is where you first meet him and you interact with these other card characters. And I really gotta say, this is a neat experience, being like at eye level with these very large Wonderland creatures. It's I'd almost call it unnerving in a way, but they're not in any way going to interact with you or attack you or anything like that. But it's a cool experience. It really gives the VR-ness of this game a real kick, because it makes you feel like you're really in this world. I don't know if you can make out their lips sometimes move and stuff like that. It's very basic in its animation, but it really works. It's very effective.
Hey, sorry to bother you with this, but my pet Patches ran away. Have you seen her here? Hey, are you okay?
Oh, I really want to deck that guy. It's got to the point where I don't have a single friend anymore. But, hey, you seem nice. Do you want to be my friend?
No, thanks.
I got to admit, I thought that was very mean of the girl to just toss aside the cards, offer to be a friend. It changes later, some minor spoiler, but that was one of the few moments where the VR-ness of this really touched me. I was like, oh, that poor card, he just wants to be friends. So while I show some of the general playthrough here, the good things in this game are it looks really sharp. It's got a nice feel to it. You are playing one of those diorama games, as I said before. So you lean in, you look around, you're checking out all the details, you're trying to find those invitations that all got scattered about earlier on. The little Cheshire Cat at the bottom of the screen is kind of cute and fun to kind of interact with. I heard some reviewers say that the Cheshire Cat and the Caterpillar are more sort of cameos in this game, and that's disappointing. I don't know if I would really say that's true. I think they're perfectly fine for the element that they play in the game. The puzzles, as I say, are pretty decent. And when the game looks nice, like the area there the Cheshire Cat sort of hangs out in, it can look amazing. Like, it's a really nice looking game. Some have complained about the click turning of the controls. Basically, in the case of PSVR, you only use the DualShock and you use the right thumbstick to kind of shake your view or pivot in gradual turns. Some people would like that to be a smooth turning option, which may be getting patched in later, I don't know. But I didn't find it all that bad. You can grab roots and various other handles to move your view around, kind of pull the environment around yourself, and that makes up for it. But there are times you have to shift or sort of rotate in your seat, and using the thumbstick for that does it. I didn't mind it. I do know some people are not fans of it. I think there's a general consensus in the VR community. If you have to give us clicks turning, at least give us the option to change it to smooth. This game does not have it. Also, a negative I will give this game is I didn't know when I was able to quit. It's not a terribly long game, only take you a few hours to go through it, but I wanted to take my time and really enjoy it. And I did find I was playing for a long time in my first sitting, not realizing, can I just like exit out? Is there no save option? There's a menu little clipboard thing you can bring up, but that only shows you your progress of how many invitations you found. There's no save and quit option. I had to get to an area where there's sort of the central hub that you will come back to multiple times, and I thought, okay, I'm going to assume it's safe to quit here, and I did. Came back the next day thinking, I sure hope I didn't lose all my progress. Lo and behold, at least for me, that hub world existed. I was fine. I continued on from where I left off. But I don't know if you quit earlier, like when I was doing that clock mission. Is that going to also just automatically save my progress, and I'll come back to that when I'm back to the game? There's nothing clear that indicates that. So that's definitely a negative that I would give down the rabbit hole, the game. Another negative I will give it is the length of the game, which many have talked about, and it is quite a short game. For the $25 that this thing costs, you don't really get much more than a few hours worth of enjoyment out of it. Now, I like it. I think it's very good, and I think for the price tag, it's reasonable. But then if there are things out there like Ghost Giant and Moss, which are much more enthralling and have much more of an emotional impact, this one, it doesn't do quite as well. In fact, I would say, without spoiling the ending too much, this one seems to just be getting into momentum. We're just getting into this world and enjoying it. And it's sort of the end of the game. Credits roll, and it's like, oh, well, that's unfortunate. It would be nice had this game had a little bit more meat on its bones, because what it does do, it does really well. But it is rather short. So if you're kind of watching your pennies, or if you're not that interested in shorter experiences, maybe wait for a sale. But yes, this is good, just rather short.
One more for the Hatter. My name is Elise.
Yes, Elise, after her grandmother's favorite bird, who never quite learned to sing. How could she ever forget?
So you see, in my game, the girl's name is Elise. You get to choose her name, and you also get to choose what pet she's looking for. You get a variety of choices in this, which do make for different parts of narrative. They don't really impact the game much. But check out this very Wonderland type of a level that we're in. I mean, this was when I started to really enjoy this down the rabbit hole game. Like, this makes me feel like I'm in it. And as you can see, our little card fella, he can actually travel through cups. Any crack in the ground or in the walls, he can go through. And that's actually useful because then he's upside down and in another version of the same world. This is where the game really starts to kick up. Like, you are surrounded in this very, very strange environment. It's really well done. I can't say enough about the ingenious level design and the look. This thing looks really, really nice. The textures, the details, they've really made a sharp, nice looking PSVR game. I highly recommend it just for the visuals and this thinking outside the box Wonderland-ish kind of an experience. It's great.
That was fun! Whoa, now I'm up in a cloud! Or down in a cloud?
Patches! Wait, was that you?
And what do we have here?
Oh, terrible news! It's the Queen of Hearts!
And yes, the Queen of Hearts does make an appearance, and she is as ruthless as ever. In fact, there's a pretty extreme end to this scene that I'm going to cut from, but yeah, she is not to be trifled with. She is just as dangerous in this version of the Wonderland series as in any other.
Should we follow them?
Yeah.
The quest goes on. Elise and her friend, who is not in such a bad situation at this part of the game, no spoilers, continue. I found something here that I've just got to ask. In looking around for these invitations, I noticed this, what I think is a hidden message. Anybody know what that says? I don't quite, it looks like maybe Swedish or something. Somebody please let me know. I thought that was pretty cool. There's a lot of like images, pictures, things like that in these hallways and corridors, things that I don't think we're really supposed to find. I found a few of them, but I don't really know what they mean. So please, anybody who has the answer to that, let me know. And eventually we head toward the castle of the Queen of Hearts. And this is a very cool little puzzle as well. I really like what they've done here as far as what the puzzles are, the characters you interact with. The storyline has the nice branching elements to it. And the unique diorama kind of thing. I tried to capture a good bit of footage here, but it's not too obvious. As you are sitting here surrounded 360 degrees with these worlds, if you look up or down, you can see the other levels that you've done in this long tunnel that stretches up to the heavens. You are quite literally down the rabbit hole as you play this game. I really like that. I think they've done an amazing job with that. There are sections where characters float past you in the well, if you will. It's really nice. The controls, that kind of click-turning thing, yeah, I can see why people are not wild about it. And for sure, the length of the game, given the price tag, is kind of tricky to swallow. Now, I'm very much in favor of supporting VR developers. I think the people who put this together did an amazing job. I really, really like it. I do confess, though, compared to the likes of Moss or Ghost Giant, this is a little bit of a steep price tag for what you end up getting. And I feel bad saying that because I really do like Down the Rabbit Hole.
Holding on for life and limb, the girl was swept away by the balloon to the tallest tower of the Keep of Hearts.
Oh, thank you for finding so many invitations. She let all my children live. How wonderful.
So, since I use the White Rabbit from Wonderland as kind of the avatar for my channel, let's end off with looking at him. In this, which is basically the end of the game, and I won't spoil it too much, but as I said, this was something that came very suddenly, and I felt like we just got into this game, and now it's over, so that's unfortunate. But I will say, I really do like Down the Rabbit Hole, which is different from The Rabbit Hole, which is also a VR game on PSVR. Don't make those same mistakes that I did. This is a lot of fun. I'm really liking it, and you can see in this scene toward the end, yeah, it's a whole world down there that you're experiencing. Really a lot of fun. I really like it. I hope if you want to, if any of this looks interesting, please check it out when it comes out on sale. I recommend Down the Rabbit Hole. So I'm going to sign off, and I'll say until next time, we'll see you down the rabbit hole.